Today on That Was the Way It Was,
some little-known facts about things we grow up with, like animal crackers and the Easy Bake Oven.
plus some stuff you didn't know about American Bandstand, and we'll remember those old-school cocktails that we just don't make anymore.
That and more today on That Was the Way It Was.
Hey everybody, I'm Bob Bates in Los Angeles, along with my friend Lauren Leibowitz. Good morning, Lauren.
Good morning, Bob.
Would you like a cookie?
Look at
I
this.
love to bring a treat if I can. I know you're talking about animal crackers today.
I'm going to take a giraffe.
What I wanted to find out was, how do you bite your animal cracker? Do you bite the head off first, or did you bite the tail off first?
I bought the head off. I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason. I just bit the head off.
Everybody bites the head off first. Well,
Really?
just saying, it's a very common. Don't put that back. You finished that.
Because you don't want a headless animal on your plate. All right, so how about we get started with animal crackers?
Good.
Okay. An animal cracker is a particular type of small cookie, and it's baked in the shape of an animal.
Oh, very good.
And so the most common variety is light-colored and slightly sweet, kind of like a shortbread cookie.
Yeah. Kind of a cross between a cracker and a cookie.
They made the first batch of animal crackers in York, Pennsylvania in 1871. And then there was another famous bakery that followed suit, the National Biscuit Company that we know as Nabisco. And so in 1902, animal crackers officially became known as Barnum's Animals and evoked the familiar circus theme of the Barnum and Bailey Circus.
It's interesting because this new box,
Doesn't have the design of the old-fashioned circus train.
it used to be a train car.
Right.
With the cage bars. And do you remember how the box used to be perforated on the bottom so you could punch out the wheels and pull them down, and then it would it would stand up on its wheels?
The paper handle there, they used to have a string handle, and
Yeah.
I would use that as a purse. My grandfather had a cigar newsstand in a hotel that sold candies, and one of the things he sold was the Barnum animal crackers, and so I loved them because it not only did I have a little goodie to eat, but I could put it on my arm and have a bag, like a pocketbook.
So you could keep all your stuff in it. After you ate the cookies, you could keep your
Well, I wanted to be grown up. What was I, 8 or something like that? I don't know.
I also heard that the original concept for the string on the top of the box was so you could hang it on a Christmas tree.
Yes. There are 54 different animals represented by the animal cracker since 1902, and each package contains 22 cookies. So 22 cookies at over 200 calories.
So the whole box, you get 22 cookies for 200 calories, which means that each cookie's about 10 calories? Not bad.
Yeah, well, it's so interesting because as I was eating my giraffe, I noticed the detail, and this is very interesting because in 1958, production methods changed to improve the cookie's visual details. So you see here the spots on the giraffe and other details of the elephant, the tusk.
Originally, they just stamped them out as an outline, I guess.
Like a cookie cutter.
Like you would do for Christmas with your Christmas cookies.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But they used a rotary die that created the details so that you have more detail in each cookie, which I kind of like.
So what animals are in the box?
The current cookies are bear, bison. What did you get?
I don't know. I ate the whole thing without
You ate.
looking.
See, you ate the whole
Okay.
thing. So what are you getting now?
Now, this is a tiger, but it's critical that you bite the head off first. Exercise your dominance over the animal.
It's like eating an Oreo.
And then you eat the rest.
And then you just pop the rest. So you had what did you say you had?
I had a tiger.
A tiger. So there are tigers, bears, bison, camel, cougar, elephant, gorilla, hyena, zebra. And to celebrate the crackers' 100th anniversary, they added the koala. So I'm sure you know Barnum on the packaging refers to P.T. Barnum, the famous.
Of Barnum and Bailey Circus, yeah.
Yeah, he was quite a character.
But don't they have to pay money to Barnum and Bailey? So they're not paying any kind of royalties?
No royalties, no.
Huh.
No. Mm-mm. And then there was a song sung by one of my favorite childhood actors, Shirley Temple, in 1935.
And how's the song go?
I don't know. It was animal crackers in my soup.
You don't know it?
Animal crackers sugars in my soup. Something. I don't know. I don't
On
know.
that note, folks.
Martin, can we have a cue, please?
All right, next up, let's talk about the Easy Bake Oven. My sister had one of these back in 1965, I think. The Easy Bake Oven is a working toy oven which Kenner introduced in 1963. The original toy used an ordinary incandescent light bulb as the heat source. Kenner sold 500,000 Easy Bake Ovens in the first year of production. So, it was a very, very popular item that Christmas. There was a sense that it's fine because you're just cooking with a light bulb, and light bulbs are in your house, so therefore it must be pretty safe. But if you've ever put your hand on a 100-watt bulb that's been on for a while, you could cook yourself pretty easily.
Well, I don't think you would cook alone. I had one. My mother was there chaperoning me with my Easy Bake Oven. It wasn't something I did by myself.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a toy you're giving
Well,
to
it's
kids.
a
Don't you think they're
toy.
going to plug it in when you're not watching and stick their hand in there and burn their hands?
Where's parental supervision? You need it, obviously.
Yeah.
You do need it because I think it's like a weird science experiment. I remember the little packets, the cake mix packets that came in, and we made a chocolate cake.
Yeah.
And so through the Easy Bake Oven window, you would watch your cake rise after you mixed it with water and put it in the oven.
Eventually.
Eventually.
I mean, it was the slowest cooking thing ever.
I know, but they were good.
My sister would get so frustrated, she would always pull them out before they were done because it would take a long time to cook. Each Easy Bake Oven came with 2 packets, I believe, of cake mix. In an interview with Oprah Winfrey, Michelle Obama was talking about getting an Easy Bake Oven for Christmas one year and being kind of disappointed because once the packets of cake mix were gone, what do you do with it? It's kind of done. You're basically done.
Well, you order more.
Well, that's what Mr. Obama said. He turned to her and said, "Why don't you just order some more?"
You just order more.
And Michelle goes, "Well, my mom said when you're done, you're done."
Oh, is that it? That's
Yeah,
funny.
that was
very
it.
funny.
The original name for the Easy Bake Oven was called the Safety Bake Oven, but apparently regulatory bodies in charge of print and radio advertising sort of shot that down. They didn't really have a track record at the time for being safe.
Well, again, here you need parental supervision. I don't know what it said on the box about
I'm sure
the age
somewhere
range.
in there it said parental supervision, but when you give a kid a toy for Christmas that lights up and heats up, I don't know. I guess you just have to be real careful to make sure they're the right age and that they understand the dangers of the thing. Yeah. Because you would pull those little trays of cake out.
Yes, they were hot. Yes.
You really shouldn't touch them with your bare hands, just like in a regular oven.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think my sister ultimately used it just as a pretend oven. She had her little toy pans and she would cook on top. She never plugged the thing in after a while, because there was no more cake.
Oh, so yeah.
It was just a prop.
I can still smell the chocolate cake. It's a sensory memory.
Really?
Oh, yes.
They later came along and turned them into microwaves, which I thought It's
not the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
No.
It's not the same thing.
No.
In one episode of Friends, there was some discussion of an Easy Bake Oven when Ross and Monica were cleaning out the attic in their mother's home or their grandmother's home, and they found an Easy Bake Oven. And Ross revealed that Monica used to eat the batter. And Monica complains, "It's unreasonable for a child to wait for a light bulb to cook brownies. And if you're a girl who sat there patiently and waited for your brownies to cook, you probably grew up into a patient, mature adult."
Old school cocktails.
Oh, yeah.
What's your favorite?
Cocktails.
I do. What's your favorite one?
Old school?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I'm a martini guy. I would order a martini in a bar today. That would be my thing.
Gin or vodka?
Gin martinis, straight up with an olive.
Oh, shaken and not stirred, or?
I almost think it's bogus, this shaken and stirred thing. They do say if you stir it, you don't bruise the gin. I'm like, Bruce, the gin, shake that thing.
Shake that gin. Shake that gin. Well, so according to the Oxford Dictionary, a cocktail is an alcoholic drink consisting of a spirit or spirits mixed with other ingredients such as fruit juice or cream.
Got it. So it's not just a shot. It's got to have some mixture of things in it to make it a cocktail.
Right, right. But what I found so interesting is in the colonial period, a tavern keeper stored their spirits in casks. And when the casks got near empty, the dregs or tailings of what was left would be mixed together into one barrel and sold at a reduced price. And then they would be poured from the spigot, which was called the cock. So patrons wanting this cheaper alcohol would come in asking for cock tailings.
Oh, interesting.
See?
The cheaper end.
That's
at
right.
the end.
That's right. That's right.
I remember back in the 60s and 70s, it was much more, 5 o'clock is here, we're having the cocktail hour. In my grandmother used to refer to them as highballs. Did you ever hear that?
Yes, it's the type of glass you had the drink in. It's probably the same glass, it was a different style of a glass as opposed to a martini glass. They were called a highball.
Which is
a round,
the
short,
low,
stout
short,
glass.
stout, the highball glass. A lot of adults felt that it was perfectly all right to ask your child to mix you a cocktail. Did you ever know anybody?
No,
who did
but
that?
I heard of that. That's
Yeah.
a little odd.
Yeah, I knew people who said that their parents would have them mix them up a gin and tonic, and which is weird.
That's kind of weird. That's
It's
kind of weird.
People had bars in their living rooms back then.
Well, yeah, we did too. But I remember one drink in particular. My mother loved it. It was called the Grasshopper. They're kind of sweet. It's a combination of creme de menthe, creme de coco, and cream.
So it tastes like peppermint ice cream, kind of.
Exactly.
When you're drinking it.
Exactly.
So what are some of the old cocktails that we don't drink anymore that were super popular back in the 60s and 70s?
Well, I never had this, and actually I never really heard of it. Pimm's. Pimm's number
Pimm's
one.
Cup?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that beer? What is that in
No,
there?
it's
What's in the
it's a
Pimm's Cup?
tawny gin-based liquor.
And what do you put in it? The gin?
It's that's what it is. It's just its own liquor.
Oh, it is?
Right, but there are various numbers. Like there's Pimm's. Pimm's number 2 cup is Scotch whiskey. Pimm's number
Oh, I
3
see.
is brandy.
Got
Number
it.
4 is rum, and so forth.
What about a Tom Collins? What's in a Tom Collins?
Yeah, I think that's Coke. It's Coke and vodka, I think.
What's in a tequila
Oh,
sunrise?
you have to stop that. Or orange juice and rum. Oh, no, tequila, not
Tequila sunrise.
Yeah, and grenadine.
That was a very popular thing, like in the late 70s, early 80s in bars. Girls in particular would always like to order a tequila sunrise.
Or champagne cocktail.
Or what about a whiskey sour? Whiskey sour, nobody has a whiskey sour anymore.
No. I was never really a big...
What about a Harvey Wallbanger? Did you ever have a Harvey Wallbanger?
No.
I don't even. How about that Long Island iced tea? Did you ever have one
That
of those?
I had a Long Island iced tea in college. We would go to a place called TGIF. Thank God it's Friday.
Yeah.
And they would mix that. And that knocked me off
Because
the loop.
it literally does taste like iced tea. It doesn't taste like there's any alcohol in it, but it's literally all alcohol. I don't know how they do it, but it does make you crazy.
It does. It takes you off your feet and your feet
And
too.
your feet.
I know.
Memories of cocktails gone by.
But I think I'm going to stick with you. Just a simple martini.
I'm telling you, it'd get you there pretty quick.
That's it.
Okay, next up, let's talk about American Bandstand. According to Wikipedia, American Bandstand is an American music performance show that aired in various versions from 1952 to 1989. It began as a weekday show on a little television station in Philadelphia, WFIL. It was in black and white in those days. And the first host's name was Horn, Bob Horn. Now, here's the deal. Apparently, Bob got into some trouble. Yeah, he was arrested for drunk driving, and there was apparently something to do with the prostitution ring.
Oh, okay.
So, poor Bob had to go. Can't be hosting a teenage dance show with all that on your record, right? So a little time went by, and they found this Dick Clark guy, and he came along, and before long, within a year, the show went national on the ABC network in the afternoons. In the beginning, the local station in Philadelphia refused to allow the city's black teenagers into the studio audience for fear of alienating viewers and advertisers. Isn't that amazing? Dick Clark realized that's a problem, obviously, and integrated the show when it went national. Now, it is said that the American Bandstand show had a real social impact on teenagers' opinions regarding race. Because this was a turning point in 1956, 57, whatever it was, to have an integrated television show to see black teenagers and white teenagers dancing together, enjoying the same music. It was a visual image that was new for television, and it really affected younger people.
Of course. And Dick Clark was also he found interesting musical acts. I mean, I think the Beatles, they came to America on Ed Sullivan, but I think he was instrumental in helping their career also while they were in the United States.
And the Rolling Stones,
yeah.
They would come on and be interviewed, but then they would also perform.
Michael Jackson.
They wouldn't really perform. They would lip sync.
Is that true?
Yeah, they would always lip sync, which I think is kind of weird. They lip sync to their record.
Oh,
I'm sorry, you didn't realize that?
I didn't realize that. I thought they were able to just really...
I'm sorry.
Oh, my heart is broken.
It bums you out a little bit.
A little bit,
that?
It does. It really does.
Remember, there was one little segment where Dick would sit with people in the audience, and they would rate a record.
Right,
like they'd play a record, and they'd say, "What's your score? What is your score? Did you like it? Did you not?" And he'd go, "What do you think of that?" And invariably, somebody would say, "It's got a good beat, and you can dance to it." Yeah.
I know what time it is.
Finally, it's time for Lauren's quiz. And, last week, you didn't do so well, and I kind of blame myself a little bit.
Thank you. Thank you for taking responsibility.
I picked a topic, scary movies. Turns out you didn't like scary movies, never went to scary movies, so you only got, well, I don't even say what your score is, I don't want to embarrass you, but it was low. Wasn't good. So today we've crafted a new quiz. I want to toss you an easy one this week. Okay.
Okay.
So here's what it is: female characters that little girls looked up to. There are 8. Here we go.
All right.
Our first strong female character knew she could make it on her own when she left a failed relationship and headed to Minneapolis.
Mary Tyler Moore.
What's the character's name?
Mary Richards.
Oh, beautiful. She's been called an 80s icon and feminist hero and model for other feminist heroines. One of the most popular characters in the Star Wars series, she's famous
Leia. Princess Leia.
Princess Leia, very good.
Okay.
Played by, of course, Carrie Fisher.
Right.
This confident and competent working mom was the first black female lead character on primetime television.
Oh, Julia. Diane Carroll.
This young teenage character was featured in a series of books from 1930s through the 80s. She's a bright amateur detective.
Nancy Drew.
She was the first female superhero on primetime TV. The series launched in 1973 with actress Linda Carter playing
Wonder Woman.
These kick-ass crime-fighting characters in this 1976 television series came to work in
Charlie's Angels.
Very good. This next female comedy legend played hundreds of characters, including herself. From 1967 to 1978, she starred in her own comedy variety show.
Carol Burnett.
Lots of little girls appreciated this strong and confident female who debuted on TV in 1976. Known for her diva personality and tendency to use French phrases, this Muppet star had an on and off relationship.
Oh, Miss Piggy.
Yay! You got them all right this week. Okay. Congratulations. That was a nice job.
Thank you.
You're back in the game.
I know, it's not easy.
Thanks for joining us, folks. Make sure you subscribe and listen or even follow us at thatwasthewayitwas.com. And we'll see you next time.